These are the new questions for lesson 6.5 on normal curve. It's probably the most important thing is to pay attention to the picture that was in your textbook that you see duplicated here. Let's do the first question. It says, use the empirical rule. In a normal distribution, what amount of area is to the right of -1? So what we want to do is to first of all draw our normal curve. And z equals 0 is always in the middle. And we want from -1 to the right. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to shade to the right of -1 all the way over to here. Now, the other part that's really important from that chart is not only the numbers that you saw at the top, but also the numbers that you see down here at the bottom. -1 goes with 0.16. So we're going to 0.16. Well, way over here on the right side is 1. On the left side, of course, it'd be 0, but we don't care about that right now. So we only want to know how much is this area between these two. So it's going to be 1 minus 0.16, which is 0.84, or 84%. Next one. Now we want to be between -3 and 0. So on our chart, again, here's -3, here's 0. Okay? So we do the exact same thing again. We draw our normal curve. Here's 0 is always in the middle. Z equals 0 is always in the middle. -1, -2, -3. If you recall, 0 is associated with 0.5. -3 is associated with 0. I'll show you on the chart one more time. 0.5 is associated with 0. -3 is associated with 0. And then we shade from -3 all the way up to 0, and we want to know how many percent is this, or what amount is this from here to here. And so what you always do is you take the right-hand end minus the left-hand end, which would be 0.5, and so it's either 0.5 or 50%. Next one. This one is a little bit more complicated because we've got some things that are associated with some of the numbers. Let's look at what we've got here. It says we can still draw our normal curve, but in this case, instead of using z's up here at the top, we're going to use actual numbers. The mean is 10 minutes. Standard deviation is 3 minutes. So 3 minutes less than 10 would be 7. 3 minutes less than 7 would be 4. 3 minutes less than 4 would be 1. We want to know what percent that is between between 1 and 10. Well, if you recall the middle, this is z equals 0, -1, -2, -3. 0 is associated with 0.5, -3 is associated with 0. So we would take 0.5 minus 0 is 0.5. So it's 0.5 or 50% is between 1 and 10 minutes. Let's look at another one. In this case, we still draw the normal curve. Mean is 40. Standard deviation is 13. So 40 minus 13 is 27. 27 minus 13 is 14. 14 minus 13 is 1. So we want to go from, I'm going to put in the z-scores. Remember, this is 0, negative 1, negative 2, negative 3. 0 is associated with 0.5. Negative 3 is associated with 0. So we want to shade from 1 all the way up to 40. So what proportion is that? Well, we always take the number on the right-hand side, subtract the number on the left, so 0.5 minus 0 is 0.5, so this is 50% or 0.5. And then the other thing that we have to do with that one is, since there were 97 tow jobs in March, that 50% that we just calculated, so it was 50% of 97. We want to know how many tow jobs that is. Well, 0.5 times 97 is 49, if you round to the nearest whole number. Next one. We want to be in the area that's left of z equals 0. So we have 0 here, and we want to know how much is this over here. Oops, that's not left. That's right, to the left of z equals 0. Well, if you recall, this over here, the left-hand end is 0. And this is 0.5, so 0.5 minus 0 is 0.5, or 50% is to the left of 0, and 50% will be to the right of 0. Now, I think that's enough of those kind. I would like to do a couple more of these ones where we have differences. Let's look at this one right here. In this case, we still draw our normal curve. The mean is 18, and we want between 3 and 23 minutes, and 5 minutes is a standard deviation. So this would be 13. This would be 8, because you just subtract 5 each time. This would be 3. 18 plus 3, 18 plus 5 is 23, so we want to shade from 3 up to 23. Remember, these all go with certain z-scores. This is 0, this is plus 1, minus 2, minus 3. If you recall, minus 3 is associated with 0. Plus 1, let's look at the chart just to make sure, plus 1 is associated with 0.84. So we would take 0.84 minus 0 is 0.84. So we would say there are 84% in this region here. Let's do another one. We're going to do another one of those towing problems. In this case, you always draw the normal curve, and we've got the mean is 35, and standard deviation is 11. So if we subtract 11, we get 24. Subtract 11, we get 13. Subtract 11, we get 2. Add 11, we get 46. we want to shade from 2 to 46. And when we shade those sections, if you recall, -0, -1, -2, -3 z-scores. This is +1. +1 is associated with 0.84. -3 is associated with 0. So 0.84 minus 0 is 0.84. Multiply that by the number of toe jobs, 79, and you get 66. So there are 66 toe jobs. This would be 66 toe jobs that would be in here, which if there's 79, that means there's 13 that aren't in there. I think that's enough for you to figure out how to do some of the problems. If you still have questions, let me know.